Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome all of you to our month of Taurus. So, as always, let's begin today with two explanations for the new people. First of all, why we are beginning the month of Taurus today, and the second one, what is Taurus? So to begin, the reason why we begin today with the month of Taurus is because in this path we are not following the astrology ni astronomy. We are not following the astrology, the tropical astrology, neither the sidereal astrology. We are not following that. We are following the calendar of the Atlantean culture that divided the year in 12 months of 30 days each, beginning the year in the moment when the star of Sirius rises in the horizon for the first time, which for this year was August 4th, 2020. So that's why we started 30 days, and that's why we today begin our month 10th, which is for Taurus. In the ancient times, the month were not called as Taurus or Aries. They were called with the numbers, with the position of the month, and all the culture behind it. But because we are kind of moved by this constellation mostly in this month, we named it like that, like the month of Taurus. So I remind you also that even if we use the names of astrology and astronomy when we call the constellation of Taurus, we are not talking about what the constellation and the stars in the constellations can affect us. We are talking about which moment is the Earth going through. Because in astrology and astronomy, it's not the stars that affect us. We name the stars according to what we live on Earth. And this is why we are going to describe Taurus, not because of the constellation, but because what happened on Earth when we see that constellation. So this takes us to try to understand what is the energy of Taurus, so we can understand a little bit what will be the idea of this entire month. So to understand Taurus, we can say that Taurus is a symbol of Earth. Taurus is the second house related to the matter, the comfort, the hard work to get all the things that we need to live, like eating, sleeping, pleasure. So it's all about the wealth. It's about having what we need, about having love. Is the symbol of the house, the home. So it's all the tangible things, all the things that you can handle, you can touch. And this is why it's related with the matter, with the with being rich, with the comfort, and all those things that are related to the ground and this reality. Also, remember that in this path of the I Am that we are doing, we have 12 months, 12 signs that are divided in 3 groups of 4. So the first 4 months for signs were for the spirit. The next 4 signs were for the soul, and since April, since the month of Aries, we are in the body, in the 4 of the body. So these 4 are the 4 elements. So today we begin the element of earth related to the body of our path. So today, the beginning was really beautiful in the pyramid, because I was inside the pyramid singing and talking with the masters behind the sarcophagus, and tourists came, and a lot of people were inside the chamber, and they start to hear, of course, the singings and so on. So they sat down there, and they joined the meditation, and they were connecting too with the sounds. So today was perfect, was amazing. So today was like feeling at home, really, in the pyramid. So today, when I was in the pyramid connecting, 3 entities appeared to kind of say that, or express that they will guide our weeks, our 3 weeks during this whole month. And I felt the presence of Serapis Bay, that was that he said he will be in the mind. So this week, the second week was for Hathor. Hathor will be, and the third week will be Ptah, for the body. So this is the first month that 3 entities like this appears to say that will be guiding a process. So I don't know how it's going to be. So I will begin to explain the topic for today, just introducing these 3 entities that will be helping in this month. So first of all, I would like to remind you, who are these beings? Because for some of you, maybe these names will sound like names of the gods of Egypt. That's the most common. Also, you can hear about them like ascended masters, and for sure, a few would have heard them as priests or priestesses from Atlantean time. So about this, I want to clarify one thing. It's not that they are one person, only one person. Is that they represent an archetype of information, that they embrace the entire information of or the concepts that they were of many teachings. So the people that were kind of teaching about them, were incarnating the concept of those attributes or archetypes. Okay, so it's not that there is only one master that is called with one name, is that many masters along history has been absorbing or representing that energy, incarnating that entity. So I wanted to say this just before we start to explain. So why are they in our week of Taurus. Serapis Bay, Hathor y Ptah. So Usirhab, the name of Serapis Bay, starting by this. I'm not going to explain about the master. I will explain about the origin, which is Usirhab. Usirhab is the name of Usir, means Osiris, is the name of Osiris. And Hab is the name of the bull. So Usir means the one that is eternal, because it's eternity. Osiris is the god of eternity, and Hab is the god of transcendence, which is the Taurus, the bull. And Bay is the name from Anatolia. So Usirhab Bay, Bay meaning governor, meaning the one that rules. Altogether means the governor of the eternal transcendence. This is why Serapis Bay is known as the master of ascension. So here in Egypt, so basically all this symbol is for a bull. So let's go to the reason why Serapis Bay is a bull. It's not the person, it's the bull itself for the ancient tradition. So why it is a bull? Because even here in Saqqara, we have sarcophagus and tombs that was for bulls specifically, not for humans, because they were incarnating the code of Serapis Bay, so they were treated like gods on earth. But why? So to understand why the bull was so sacred, we have to go to the origin of agriculture. When we started to be sedentary in our civilization, our cultures, we discovered agriculture. So we started to work with the agriculture. Okay. And one of the first animals that was domesticated was the bull, because the bull was really useful to carry the plow and to sow the seeds. It did a lot of hard work and helped many families to have food, to have wealth, security. So whoever had a bull, it would represent wealth for the family. So they established security in the people, they established transcendence of the families, because they were able to repeat the cycle again next year. So they had food, they had tranquility, they had many things that were really good because of the bull. So the bull was a symbol. So the bull also gave flesh, not only meat, not only because they could eat the bull, but because it was breeding with the cows, so they could have the meat and so on. So it was a symbol of wealth, like all the attributes of our month of Taurus is all the wealth, is all the comfort, the tranquility of having food and all the things that we need to survive. So eventually, when we started to build temples, when we started to create a civilization, a religion, the bull, of course, was a symbol of transcendence. A bull was the symbol of eternal life. It was something that helps us to keep being where we are. So the bull was a very quiet and peaceful animal that had a lot of strength, that helped in the fields to grow the crops, and this that the people interpreted the bull as a very important animal that represented ascension, transcendence, and the eternity of the culture. So they took all the attributes of the bull and made it into divinity. And that's how the bull became something divine. So along all Middle East, from Persia, the valley of the Indo in Pakistan and India, the Nile here in Egypt, all the Mediterranean islands, all the territories, Anatolia, and so on, the bull was considered like the one bringing that the peace, the continuation of the civilization. So it was very, very important for everyone to understand the transcendence of the cultures. This is why it was called the governor, because it was the symbol that ruled over the nations. That's why it was called Bay, the governor. So of course that eventually, when the age of Taurus ended and the age of Aries began, the idea of the Taurus was changed. So for all the people in the Mediterranean Sea, the Taurus was a symbol of the old traditions, of the old empires that were ruling and dominating over the other populations. So the traditions in the middle in the Mediterranean Sea started to kill the bull, because if you so they took the attributes of the bull, like being brave and have strength and going against something. So they took this idea that the bull represented all the empires that they were against too. So like Egypt, like Babylonia, like Persia. So they started to do these ceremonies in which in public spaces they killed the bull, they faced the bull, like representing we are going over the other cultures that were controlling us, and this is a new time. So all these traditions of the Mediterranean Sea against the bull kept going through the time, and that's why even today we can see some traditions with the bull in Greece, in Spain, and Spain took it to Mexico and Colombia and so on. Against that idea of the tauromaquia, I don't know how to say in English, that we have today, in ancient times, the bull was seen as a symbol of fertility and a symbol of divinity. So that's why the priest that took or embodied the aspects of the holy bull was called Serapis Bay, and this is how we get the masters. So with Serapis Bay, what we are going to do is to work in the mental aspects of the bull. Hathor significa la casa de la luz. Hat, casa, hur, luz. La casa de la luz. Hathor comes from Hathor. Hathor means the house of light. Hat meaning house and hur meaning light. So Hathor is the name of the one that holds the light within. Hur gives the name of Horus, which is the Egyptian god, the falcon, the hawk. So Hathor is the one that protects the light of Horus, the consciousness itself. And the symbol is a house with a falcon, a hawk inside. But the incarnation, the body of Hathor is a cow, because cow is the one that protects, the one that gives the milk, the one that make the families to keep going, to live. So the cow was sacred also. So this Hathor, the cow, is related with the mother of the skies. This is why the tradition says that the cow was the one that gave birth to creation, taking care of their kids, of their babies, by giving all this milk around in the cosmos. And that's why we call the stars the Milky Way. The Milky Way is basically a path made of milk. So because of this tradition of the cow. And here we can see how the sun, the light, is inside that house, because all the stars are around the sun. So this is like the little house with the hawk within, which is all the stars and the constellations surrounding the sun. Is the caring mother, the one that takes care of everyone, even the sun. So here we have that Hathor is the mother that takes care. So is the soul. So here we have the bull already and the cow. And the god Ptah is a very complicated god, because it's a dark one, is a dark master, but is the one in charge of creation, is the one that manifested the matter in this reality. So is the one that makes all the physical things exist according to the Egyptian tradition. Ptah. Here we have the frame, so you have it. Okay. As always, the first day of the month is a little bit longer, because I try to explain the end of the whole thing. We begin today with the first topic explained by the energy of Serapis Bay, which will start this week with the topic of the source. The source. The second week will be starting with the home, explained from the energy of Hathor, and the third week will be the topic of temple and how to build a temple according to Ptah. And I should mention that I have no idea how we're going to do it. So let's begin with the topic for today, which is the source. So the source, talking about the source, we are not going to speak about the source from the spiritual point of view that we usually know the source, because usually when we speak about this in spirituality, it's like the source from the origin of things in the spiritual way. But because we are in Taurus, we are going to talk about this in another way, in another point of view. We're going to talk about source, but first let's think about the idea of a fontaine. Fontaine is the same origin as fuente in Spanish, and we can relate that to a different way of understanding a fontaine. So we have we have here the word fount or fontaine comes from then in the Indo-European language that means to flow. Flow. Which gives us two words. Fontis, meaning flow of water, and fundis, that means to melt materials. So these are two of the ways of seeing this. But the word source in English, comes from subreg. Subreg. Which is sub, under, and reg means rule, line. So under the line. So the source means something that is below the things that you see, the laws that you follow. So it's the origin of all those lines because it's under them, is holding them. That's why source is the idea of what is under the rules, under the creation itself, the lines, the ones that are ruling. Okay. So before we understand the idea of source, remember something that we have spoken many times, that everything begins with only one thing that decides to divide in two, projects themselves in two, and then repeats the system and repeats the system, and it starts to multiply itself by two all over once again, creating a network. I say that this dot here is the one that originates the rest, dividing itself, creating these two, and then multiplying and multiplying and multiplying by many. When we expand this creation and suddenly we say, I want to know where I come from, I start my path to seek for the source of all things, which we call also the origin. Origin comes from the word ori, that means place, is a mountain, and gen, that means give birth. Give birth. So origin is the place where the things and light or the things are born. That's the origin. So that's why when we reach the origin, we try to go to the place where everything was given birth, to go there. So now try to take a look into something very simple. Look yourself in the mirror and think you are made up with millions of cells. So when you try to look for the origin, which of those cells is the first one or the original? The first one that was one cell and divided in two by meiosis. Where are they? Can you find it? So now, when they start to divide, by 2 and by 2 by 2 by 2, and they start to multiply once and again, once and again, once and again, once and again. So the original cell doesn't exist anymore because the original cell has been divided in two. It was divided in two. And then in 4, and then in 8, and so on. So suddenly there's no original cell. Suddenly all the cells had the information of the first one. So as you see here, whether it is for meiosis or mitosis, the body, every cell has the original information. This is why the cells can die and regenerate again many thousands times. So now, to get the idea, equal like the cells, this center here, the first one, is not that it has been projected to the outside, creating two more besides this one here. What really happens is that this one here was divided in two. And this one here was divided in 4. And then it was divided in 8. You see? So this is what we have been trying to understand all this time. That is not that there is someone or something that creates into the outside something new. It's not that something is created outside. It's the same being dividing itself by many thousands of them, millions. And this is why there is no creator that creates something. It's a creator that creates itself. And we are tiny little parts of that creation, of that creator. We can say that we are fruit with many seeds. The same image that we can have is like having one fruit with many seeds inside, and then one of those seeds goes into the ground and takes roots and leaves and branches, and then creates a tree that gives more fruits exactly the same as this one. So this is how we can understand now that the source is not in a place in the universe. The source is everywhere in every tiny little part of existence. So this means that all the oranges in the world are part of the same being, which is called orange. And it doesn't matter how many trees there are, how many oranges in the world there are, the seeds inside of them will have the information for the whole, to create new oranges, basically. So this means that the source is within. So we usually make like a romantic idea of the source, saying the source is within you, you have power of creation, you have the strength to do all the things, you have all the potential. And that's true. That's true. Because every little aspect of yourself has the information of the source. So this takes us to the idea that there's no need to go into another world or levels of consciousness to try to understand or find the source, the way we can do it is by finding that source here in the reality, in the matter. So the first topic regarding Serapis Bay is the source, and the task is to recognize ourselves as seeds of the universe. So this is like for those who love films, this is like Star Wars. I wrote about that today. This is like in the Star Wars when they say, "May the Force be with you." May the Force be with you. It's not that the Force is somewhere else and you have to find it. The source is everywhere, and there is some in some places that they explain that the source is within, that you have to feel it, that you have to close your eyes and perceive it. And once you accomplish that, you became a Jedi. And Jedi is also a name in Hebrew, which is Shaddai. That means Almighty. So that you have all the potentials within. So I will share with you the task for the entire month in order to activate this consciousness of the Almighty within. So what we are going to do, the task for the entire month, the 30 days that we have, the task is to make something that for sure you have done at school, which is a germination. I don't know how to say it in English exactly, but it's to germinate, to do a germinate with plants. So what we are going to do is to find. So I'm not going to explain how to make a germinate because you have. I explained it in the blog, and also you can find it in internet. You can do it in. You can do it on the glass, or you can do it on a pot or whatever in a test. So what you have to do is to make the germinate with the seeds you choose, and then what you will do is to water those seeds with the intentions of every alignment of every day during this month. So we are gonna see and take the seeds as if they are our own cells, so we can perceive how our intentions are growing physically. So we can put like tiny little papers with the words of our intentions for every day written there with the seeds in the ground, in the soil. We can just sing and talk to them. What we are going to do is to manifest physically all the intentions for this month. In the blog, I explain specifically how you can do it. So I put some examples there of some plants that grow in 30 days at least, or 40, 50 days, but mostly in 30 days you will see a result that you can eat. Why? Because our goal is to eat that, to take the energy that we manifested outside. So taking the seeds like the cells, and then we grow them with our vibration, with our intention, and then we eat them at the end of this month. Whatever they have given, we just eat it, even if it is like this. So this week will be to manifest the source here and now. What we are going to do is to feel and experience the manifestation of the source. Today we change with our intention and statement, the vibration, for this week. So the vibration for today will be Wa. The statement for today is I am the universal origin.